there, everybody. Welcome to our January 2022 edition of Poetic License. This is an open mic of original work in poetry, music, comedy, and other spoken word pieces. Our suggested theme tonight is peace, peace, peace. And at this point in the world and in the pandemic, don't we all long for some peace in our lives? My name is Donna Shear, and I want to thank our steadfast Andrew Richards, who helps us through this virtual format. Woohoo! Thank you, FCTV, for all your fabulous programming. This month, The Conversation presents their 16th episode. The focus is on racism in sports. And the installment begins with Falmouth's own Olympic gold medalist Colleen Coyne, and the guest panelists are Jen Fry and Richard Lapchick. Every Friday, another steadfast friend of ours, health agent Scott McGann, brings us concise updates on the current status of COVID in Falmouth and surrounds. I'll give you a heads up now. In February, FCTV is sponsoring a telethon. 14 local nonprofits are raising money collectively to benefit their good works. And I'm going to give more information about that once all the performing is over at the end of the evening. And oh, that reminds me, I need to renew my FCTV membership. Thank goodness, it's only $30 a year for an individual membership. I love belonging to this FCTV family, and it's helped me find peace many times during this pandemic. So I'm very grateful for it. So now, performers, it's our turn to shine. When I read your name, unmute your mic. Please repeat your name. And I'm going to start us off with a poem. Again, my name is Donna Shear. And I have to be honest, I have never been a winter person. Even though I grew up in Chicago, it's not my first time of year I would want to spend the rest of my life in. But through close observation, I'm learning to love this winter wonderland. I set this poem up that I'm going to read with my holiday cards last month, and it's called Snow Repose. The squirrel, minked in black, his tail a question mark against the pale, scuttles by, leaves tiny petal prints as he roots out acorns shoehorned into the earth last autumn. The wintry tiptoe slows, each flake holding hands, rhyme piled in peace. I become a branch on the edge of feeling. Snow gilds my bare barked arms, awaiting, awakening. My finger twigs accept a flurry of chilly white. Camouflaged, the acorns and I soon drowse and dream, quilted under a crystalline hush, hush of white on white. Thank you. All right, folks, here we go. Sue Carlson has a very beautiful piece to read to us tonight. Some of you got a preview of that if you received an email. Susan, welcome.
Thank you. Yes, this is a parable for our times. And I read this to a couple of people, and they've each found something different in it. So I was kind of curious to see what you find in it, but I'll just read it. A free spirit, a wild fox, and a lonesome dove all lived together in one forest. Their paths often crossed, but they seemed not to notice one another. One day the wild fox got caught in a thicket. He struggled to return to his wild ways, but after days of struggle, all moments, thoughts, and emotions tamed down. He felt peaceful, but something important about him was missing. He saw the free spirit come along and asked for help. The free spirit couldn't stop. She was flying free, but promised to sing about his plight to all the earth and trees and heaven above. She wished the wild fox well and flew on by. He waited there for days, contemplating his wild ways and remembering how they caused him to just run on by the free spirit without noticing when he too had been free. Free and wild enough to crush wildflowers on his way to the next adventure. Suddenly he noticed the subtle sound of a whispering of wings. Then he heard the full, gentle, rolling coos of the dove as it landed behind him. "Is that you, dear dove?" he asked. Again he heard her peaceful song. "Please help me," he called. She couldn't understand his song. She waited for him to explain in a language she could understand. But he never uttered the full, rolling coos she longed to hear. Finally she flew off to the treetops and up into the sky. The fox remembered so many times those rolling full sounds of the lonesome dove had provided lovely background music for his wild adventures. Suddenly he felt the warmth of the sun's light upon his face. How many times before had he been enchanted by its soothing warmth and radiant light? He actually had experienced moments of deep gratitude. He had noticed something in his wild meanderings after all. Yet now he could not find shade and was growing hot, and at that particular angle the light was shining right into his eyes, and so he closed them. He drifted in and out of consciousness, and he heard himself singing the song of the lonesome dove back to her until she no longer felt alone. She was simultaneously connected to all places at once. And the sun, as he did so, was no longer blinding his eyes. It was instead illuminating everything. As he opened his eyes and ears and heart and every sense, he saw before him and heard in multicolor sound that he was in a chorus of doves singing, "We bring you peace, and olives on these branches for your sustenance." And all were in a family of foxes, saying, "We bring you company and cool water from our brook." And he was soothed from the heat of the sun, and he felt nourished and strong once again. And he broke free of the thicket that surrounded him, making a space on the forest floor for new wildflowers to meet the beams of sun that flowed from the heavens through the canopy to wake them there. And the fox was glad for his wildness, for his freedom, and his time alone, and always in the company of all beings. And things were never and always the same again.
Thank you, Sue. That is so beautiful. I keep thinking about, do I want to be the fox or the dove? So that's what I've been thinking about. Also, the whole idea of becoming who you already are and living in peace in nature. It's just, there's just so much richness in your piece, in your parable. So thank you. I hope you can get a lot of responses to that. Thank you. All right, let's see. Lisa Cantor, how are you, my friend?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Donna. I've written 2 poems for tonight. The first is called Peace Seekers in 3 chapters. 1. Volunteering her time was good for her, she'd been told. Sorting through thrift bins, she folded the remnants of rich people's lives, donated wholeheartedly to mend the holes in poor people's lives. Once, she found a note in a pocket of a worn tweed jacket, belonging, she imagined, to a small, educated man whose large tears and long-standing heartache he could not understand. It read, "When I was young, I spent years wishing to be tall. And even now, though I seem to have it all, peace eludes me." Chapter 2. A wordsmith by trade and by passion, she was articulate and well-spoken. This she'd been told. By this age, not old, but on her way, she recognized this was fool's gold. She knew there were few things words could solve. Taking her first known breath well into her 50s, now that breath could end wars. That breath could bring world peace. Chapter 3. Alone, watching news of civilians launched into orbit, she wondered, when Captain Kirk went to space in an Amazon package, could he see the moral arc of the universe? If so, she resolved, I'd like to go next. So that's my first poem. And the next is called, thank you. And the next one is called Words of Peace. Words are wondrous peace offerings for our frightened, tiny minds. Approximations, small, presumptuous exclamations. After all, what single language can definitively script our lives? We run around excitedly, urgently, like children with squirt guns, dousing our world and claiming it. We see it, point, shoot, name it. We do it, take aim, fire, name it. We feel it. Quickly, don't wait, name it. Imagine life beyond words. Imagine life beyond words. How might we bear the unspoken? The beauty, the terror, the delight, the wanting, the unknown, unknowable, mysterious, before and beyond and without words truth. All of it. We may just be too small to hold it all. Vastness shrinks us beyond being, renders us microscopic. So difficult then to discern our places, our purpose, to recognize our own faces. So words, come, settle us down, bring peace to our hearts and a stash of fine names to assign to this life. Let's play simply in the field of syllables, strung like Dixie cups end to end, brought close to our ears so we can hear the ocean, our mothers, ourselves. Peace. Thank you.
Lisa, so beautiful. My two favorite lines, I had to write them down. Not old, but on her way. Man, can I relate to that? And then that breath could end wars. That is very, very, very powerful line.
Mm.
And of course, the second poem that you shared with us, all of us being wordsmiths, that too was powerful for us. So thank you. What inspired you?
Well, the truth is I write for these prompts. So I actually love the prompts. It gives me a structure and I marinate with it. I think a lot about how we construct our reality, and how we get imprisoned by it and can also be freed from it. So kind of where I live in my mind quite a bit, with a mindful appreciation of the limitation and freedom that comes with words.
Well, I like your world. Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks.
All righty. Patricia Austin, how you doing tonight?
Hi, Donna. Hi, everybody. I'm Patricia Austin. And Lisa, once again, my goodness, that was really beautiful, but profound. And I'm so torn here because I had something I was thinking I want to read right now because of where we are in our world, as you said, Donna. But I had a poem which I never would have thought to read here, but you have inspired me, Lisa, because I think it follows you so well about names. And you'll probably all say, well, Lisa's poem was beautiful. Now, where is your head? So anyway, this is an untitled poem, but you've inspired me to look at it. So here it is. How do we choose a name? From something made of many instances, expressing in different levels of being, combined with varying degrees of a substance, tied to the dense, yet practically dispersed, pretending direction where there is no where, in a nano moment, too fast to be recognized by the infinitesimal piece of expression slow enough to be named, so we can remember who we are, hoping the question can be lived in sequence that leads to connections referred to by names. Thank you. What I was going to read and what I will read, I think I have actually recited this before, but it just seems so applicable to really coming round again to where we are. Coming round again to where we are. What an interesting idea. This is called Citizenry in the Time of Trauma. Why do we value the rule of law? And why do we care when others ignore? For without it, the powerful step on the poor. Bigoted bullies determine the score. The fatuous, foolish demand even more. Among us our fallen yield not from abhor. Without rule of law, it's more than a scare. To a frightened democracy, it's clearly a dare. Do we stand up for justice by means of our law, or succumb to the numbness and simply withdraw? Will the call ignite us to decency? Songs of ethical peons wielding sorcery, rendering superfluous despondency, purging our constitution back to plebeian nobility. This land is your land, This land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the clean waters. This land belongs to you and me. See, that's an ethical peon, as we say.
I like that. I do remember that from before, and I remember loving it. And how nicely that you gave us that second poem, the citizenry in the time of trauma, because you know who's following you is John Jackson, who I'm sure will dovetail wonderfully with what you have told us. So, John Jackson, you are up.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is John Jackson. I write limericks of protest, not as many as I have, so I have just a few this time. Of course, today's is Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer has announced that he's going to retire. So President Biden will soon be deciding which nominee will draw Senate's fire. Omicron, the Grecian O letter. This variant is another go-getter. The odds from Las Vegas say we'll pass the Omegas. Apparently, we do not know better. For New Year's, I wrote, a year lost in bad germ deflections and the Capitol with no firm protections. I don't mean to be vague. This year we get plague, COVID plus midterm elections. Oh, where'd it go? Working a puzzle like Sudoku, just trying, no one wants to choke you. The Jan 6 Commission continues their mission, trying to solve Trump's pseudo-coup. They say I'm not a prisoner to fear, implying it can't happen here. They think plain to see it can't happen to me until the first symptoms appear. You may remember months ago, I wrote a series of limericks about using homophones for the rhymes. That old Persian poet named Rumi laments with his eyes rather roomy. My old lover Shams doesn't like windows with shams and left for an apartment more roomy. And this little fragment I wrote the other morning. Drinking coffee, doing 80 on 495. If that don't kill me, it'll keep me alive. Which reminded me of a fragment that had come to me sometime before, a song that never got finished and never even made it to a chorus. But it came to mind recently. Once when I was young, I saw the sacred face of Jesus at the bottom of a bottle of beer. I've been looking for him ever since, but I don't think I will find him here. If I had a dollar bill for every time I saw his face smiling up at me from the foam, I would have enough to buy me a brand new pocket comb. Of course, with inflation, that means you'd see in the face more than once, but I always wondered what would happen to someone who had that sort of a vision in something harmful like a bottle of beer, and you keep on drinking looking for Jesus, and all you find is the bottom of the bottle of beer. Anyway, thank you.
You never disappoint, John Jackson. There's, to be able to write about Omicron and the coup, the January 6th coup, and all of that is just brilliant. And how cool is that Breyer and retire rhyme, because the whole media is going with it, the whole media is going with it.
Yeah.
So cool. Oh, we have a new friend here tonight. We have a new friend, Rosemary Muller, how are you tonight, Rosemary? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I am fine, and thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. This is wonderful. You guys are great. And yes, I just start. My name is Rosemary Dunn Muller, and the first poem, I have to move the screen because the first poem I'm reading comes from my experience of living in Mali in Northwest Africa. And behind me is one of the cloths that I brought back from there. This is called Story Hour at our library. Malian illustrator Baba Wagu Diakite transports my memory back to the village I loved, Baginada, as I read his book to little ones at our local library. I lived in a house like this one. I wore dresses like she wears. I cooked meals with these fruits on a fire. They look at me, wondering how I ever fit into such a small book. But I traveled there, worked there. I'm a real person who sat under balanzon trees, fanned flies in winter, where puddles can't freeze, and taught at a school with only 3 walls. I need to convince my little charges that there's so much in common with children in this book, this village, this continent, that differences mean adventures, not dangers. The other poem, thank you. Thank you. The other poem, talk about out of time, it comes from the 12th month in the Jewish calendar, which is Elul, which takes place during August and September. Forgive me my trespasses in Elul. While temperatures soar in August, then soften to September's acceptable breezes, 40 days of introspective criticism pass by. I don't pray well. Instead, I organize needlework projects, making holiday ornaments for my kids, ironically, in Elul, a month to reflect, amend, and improve. My critical genetic nature rubs against my need to nurture, as annoying as corduroy pants on fat fives. I'd love to be a better mother. I try to fix tastier meals to take to the fields for husband and workers harvesting yellow soybeans and red sorghum, while I freeze squash, dry tomatoes, pick pears before the wind and frost destroy it all for me. And occasionally remember to be polite, convivial, sympathetic, nicer, all this self-improvement, humbling apologies, making amends for trespasses into someone else's space, my child mind's sense of the prayer. All just bandages on stigmata, those living scars of pain and hurts I can't forget. I forget how to forgive, but try again. And try again. Casting aside my shucked soybean pot of defenses to blow into our neighbor's cornfield, compost to replenish the soil for next year. Thank you.
Oh, Rosemary, thank you so much. I love the way you moved between the Mali dialect and the English as you read that first poem.
Oh.
And you started it off with show and tell by actually showing us the Mali cloth, which I love.
Yeah.
I loved it. Were you there for long?
I taught for 3 semesters,
Awesome.
and it was fabulous. And Timbuktu was there, so it was really exciting. It was wonderful.
Wow. Thank you. I hope we see you again.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Christina Laurie, I see you, my friend. How you doing?
All right, starting at the beginning. I'm Christina Laurie, and the assignment was peace, and I decided to use it as kind of a challenge. And I came up with a poem with the different rhyme scheme, and it's AABA in 4 different stanzas about peace. And when you first mention peace, the first thing I think of is the ocean and the shore and the beaches. So I put that into the poem, but I've got a different one too to read. Peace. A drift of twilight gray, floating o'er the parting day, as the curve of golden moon sets light across the placid bay. We sit upon a seaside rock, gazing beyond a grouping flock of seagulls, beyond the dune, beyond the verdant hemlock. There we sit hand in hand, gazing from the silent land, hearts and hands in a tune, bare feet encircled in the sand. Starting love at the coastland, we linger long on peaceful strand, loving life as uplifted boon, on peace and love, a wedding band. It doesn't follow suit with Lisa or Pauline or Rosemary, but it was kind of different. Anyways, I have my second poem is called COVID-19, and I've been working on this for some time, and changing it and working on it and stuff. And I have I can't find well, anyways, so COVID-19, and there's a quote at the beginning. Nothing was remembered, nothing forgotten. When we awoke, the enemy attacked, and that's anonymous. I don't know where I got it from. Our windowsills were wet from the rain last night. Birds settled on stone walls, then scattered into vine-encrusted trees. But peace did not reign, and life was broken in a moment. Nothing was accepted, nothing looked backward. Grandfather clock separated hour from hour, hands moving slowly. No one drew into deserted streets, yet animals moved about. Stores boarded up, dark, emptied. Faces with expressionless eyes covered by masks or bandanas. Still, we washed our hands so often, our skin wrinkled and knuckles bled. Nothing was remembered, nothing forgotten. When we awoke, the enemy attacked. Soon we were separated by 6 feet, and streets and houses were silent. No hands clasping hands, no hugs shared, but we could bump elbows. We have withdrawn into our private lives. Neighbors have left their rain-soaked windows. We cannot eat together, nor dance, nor walk arm in arm. We sleep alone in the depth of moonless nights, dreaming of sunny days. We have learned the beginning. We do not know yet where it will end. We attempt to create a new life, but the old keeps haunting our nights as we linger on the edge of oblivion. We have learned the beginning. We do not know yet where it will end. We have lost a sense of time. We wade in uncharted waters, do not talk, avoid contact, ignore desires for community, for church, in order to exist. We attempt to create a new life, but the old keeps haunting our nights as we linger on the edge of oblivion. Nothing was remembered, nothing forgotten. When we awoke, the enemy attacked. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah.
The first poem was absolutely gorgeous.
It was?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, the second one, Patricia used the word trauma in her second piece, and what you're talking about is our shared trauma. We're still in the middle of it,
Right.
and it's definitely something that I think we can all relate to. We're still here.
Yeah, unfortunately, we
Still
are.
here. But we're still here.
Yes.
We're still
Amen.
together, right? Right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Well, thank
Jackson,
you.
Jackson Gilman. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey. It's not my piece, but it fits the piece theme, and it's written by John Fromer, who had a high-pressure job as a TV producer in California, but he managed to stay balanced by regular regimen of hiking. And when things get stressful, I like his prescription of take a hike. Try and remind myself to do that more often. So it's a very simple song in 3 verses, short enough and simple enough that you can learn it and sing along, and there's beautiful images in it. So I'm going to invite you to sign along as well, and I'll show you what to do. Give us the peace of a mountain. Give us the patience of the trees. Give us the open arms of the heavens. Give us the passion of the seas. So give us the peace of a mountain. Try that. Give us the peace of a mountain, the patience of the trees. Give us the patience of the trees, the open arms of the heavens. Give us the open arms of the heavens and the passion of the seas. Give us the passion of the seas. You know that? You can sing along at home too and sing along. Give us the peace of a mountain. Give us the patience of the trees. Give us the open arms of the heavens. Give us the passion of the seas. Watch and listen. Teach us the music of the river. Teach us the kindness of a breeze. Teach us the harmony of a rainbow. Teach us to sing like wind through the trees. So teach us the music of the river. Teach us the music of the river, the kindness of a breeze. Teach us the kindness of a breeze, the harmony of a rainbow. Teach us the harmony of a rainbow, to sing like wind through the trees. Teach us to sing like wind through the trees together. Teach us the music of the river. Teach us the kindness of a breeze. Teach us the harmony of a rainbow. Teach us to sing like wind through the trees. One more verse. Show us a love as deep as the ocean. Show us the secrets in a stone. Show us the courage of a mother's heart. Show us the wisdom in our bones. Show us a love as deep as the ocean. Show us a love as deep as the ocean, the secrets in a stone. Show us the secrets in a stone, the courage of a mother's heart. Show us the courage of a mother's heart and the wisdom in our bones. Show us the wisdom in our bones. Show us a love as deep as the ocean. Show us the secrets in a stone. Show us the courage of a mother's heart. Show us the wisdom in our bones. And one more piece of the mountain. Give us the peace of a mountain. So all those elements are out there when we need to plug into them and recharge. Remember to take a hike.
Yay! I love it when you sing and sign, Jackson. That is so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm feeling uplifted right now. So
Beautiful.
that's
Yeah.
a great thing. Great thing. Let's see. I forget where I am here. Oh, we have another new friend. Yay, Debbie Bazza. How are you, my dear? I understand you had a little bit of trouble getting help.
Yes,
getting here.
I did. And then at one point it says I have to wait for the host to let me in, but it still didn't work. So I fooled around with it. I don't know. It's like, you fool around with it and then it works all of a sudden.
That's right. Everyone can unmute because you are a comedian, correct?
Well, I don't know. I got to be honest with you. After hearing that beautiful rendition, I feel so peaceful. I mean, a comedian needs a little rat in them, and I couldn't even participate. I was just enjoying watching. It was just so beautiful. It really was. Thank you. I'm looking for a place to live, to move. And one place that it was $2,500 a month. And I said, gee, it's a little high for me. I like to eat, and she said there was mold. They fixed it. And you see, my thinking is, well, if there was mold once, there could be mold again. So I didn't. And she wanted to know, do you come home late? And then I got annoyed. I do come home late. I come home 2 a.m. sometimes from a show. She says, because the lady will be startled. So, it was no love match. It really wasn't. So I don't know what I'm doing. Well, we will see. We will see. I put a bid in something, but I have to wait 2 weeks. So I'm packing with nowhere to go. My mother used to do that. When my mother wanted to move, she would just pack without a place to go. So I'm turning into my mother more and more, and I don't really care for it. But what can I say? But I do see the neuroses being handed down to my daughter. So that makes me feel good. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to. It's true, So, and I've been blessed to work for some senior centers. And, so it's like more like a little exercise, a little comedy. So I usually start out and say, move your fingers, because all the years we made the meatloaves and the meatballs, and, we have arthritis now. So I do use a potato masher. I have come across that this week. So that's my tip for the day. And I am a thrice married woman. I keep trying, I keep going. And I'm dating a little bit. And I met a man. I hope we're not taped. Are we taped? Can anyone see us besides each other?
Not yet.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't really care for that, but that's okay. But anyway, he's never been married. And I said, gee, you seem so nice. You're never married, never in a relationship. But then, as you go along, you figure out why. Yeah. Like he was MIA during the holidays, So, it's different. It's different. It's a different stage I'm in. And I kind of like it now. I really do. It was a lot. It was a lot to switch over to being a married woman. You talk about peace. Well, the holidays was anything but peaceful. There was always a lot of noise. Sometimes I would put cotton balls because there was the screaming and the fight, and that was just them being happy. And then this year, they're all gone. My daughters were doing something else, and the family, they passed, his family, and I missed the noise. I really did. I missed the noise. But I called up some single friends and I asked them how they handle it. And it was nice. It was really nice. I had nice conversations, and I felt I was visiting. Plus it's COVID, so you really can't do a lot. And it was okay. It was okay. And I think that's about my time probably. But I'm usually not so, introspective, but I guess I'm just in the mood. I'm just mellow right now. I have to look for my mother's poems. My mother used to write poems to me. She would write something like, when am I going to meet the man already who's going to say, this is my wife? I mean, this is literally all I was raised to do, was to get married. And I think you would like them because she was a good poetess. It's a shame she didn't have something like this, Yeah, she really was a good writer. And I thank you. I thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us, Debbie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Come back. Hope you come back.
I will. Thank you for having me.
And our friend Tom Palavano is here.
Yes, Tommy.
And your friend Tom Palavano,
Yeah.
but he's our friend too now. So Tom, good to see you. Don't forget to unmute.
Oh, yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, good. Yes, I am Tom Palavano. Peace. It's so hard for me to find peace and quiet because I have loud relatives like my Uncle Chooch. And he's not a very bright man. As a matter of fact, he thought peace and quiet was the name of a law firm. He doesn't know. He thought being bipolar meant you visited the Arctic and Antarctic. The man is very simple. He's so loud. Like I said, he said to me, Tom, I train Italian dogs at the ASPC. Hey! Nonsense. Why is he doing like that? And then he says to me once, yo, Tom, if someone steals your joy, use a different dishwashing liquid. Where does he come up with this? And I never had peace with any of my girlfriends. I remember I was yelling to one and I said, this relationship's going nowhere. She said, no, it's going downhill. I said, you know what? We've been dating for 4 months. We can't agree on anything. She goes, you're wrong again. We've been dating 6 months. I don't understand. And then one time she said, Tom, would you die for me? I said, what? She said, would you die for me? I said, well, I'd skip lunch. And she skipped out of town. I got a dog. I thought that would bring me peace, And a couple of weeks ago, I trained my dog to roll over. The trouble is, he hasn't stopped. Last I heard, he was in Kansas.
No.
I went to this restaurant. I figured I'd find peace there. Oh, but I had a terrible dinner. They served me this food. I mean, past its prime ribs.
No.
Past its prime ribs. What kind of nonsense is this? Oh, and the service was so slow. I said to the waiter, I want wine that is very well aged. He said, don't worry. By the time I come back, it will be. And then my waiter that read me the specials, he was depressed. Yeah. He says to me, today, that special is flounder. Oh, why did my relationship with Claudette flounder? Oh, And I said, please calm down. He said, oh, and our other special is New England clams. Oh, I wish I wouldn't have said that stuff to Claudette. I should have clammed up. What kind of waiter do I have here? He was so depressed. I was scared to ask him to toss the salad. You know what I mean, right? Then there's my Uncle Laudo. Every July 4th, I go to his house. He doesn't shoot off fireworks, but he stands in the yard and goes, boom, boom. How am I going to get peace with this? Now, you know how I find peace? By reading. And I'm a speed reader. I love reading about speed. Yeah, I'm a speed reader. Now, what I do sometimes to relax is I look out my front window for hours on end and do absolutely nothing, which really bothers the drivers behind me. Yeah, they start beeping their horn and all that. Oh, I remember once, just to feel peace, I was actually talking to a sunflower until a bee told me to buzz off. Then I remember once for hours I was sitting by the water until the plumber came to fix the leak. I know. Oh, you know what else I find relaxing? When I sing. Yeah, singing brings me peace. The trouble is, when I sing, the neighbors call the police and say I'm disturbing the peace. I don't know. But I'm at peace because I'm ready for any emergency, because I have an emergency kit that includes every essential item: flashlight, batteries, a woman's blonde wig, pina colada mix, nose hair trimmer. I'm ready. I'm ready. Any emergency. See, I wish I was like my Uncle Valium. Yeah. He doesn't let anything bother him. He's so calm. He said, Tom, I don't let anything bother me. Yeah. I have insomnia, but I don't lose sleep over it. He goes, if a wild dog is chasing me down the street, I don't let it get to me. The man is so calm. It's amazing. And now I heard they're going to let people go to the movies, even if they're drunk or stoned. This is not going to give me peace. Can you imagine some guy in a movie theater? Hey, Spider-Man, are you on the web? Ha, 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 ha. What kind of peace am I going to have? I mean, are they going to change the name of movies now because they're letting these people in? I don't understand. Like, I even wrote some of them down. Gone with the Beer, The Wizard of Drunk, It's a Wonderful Buzz, Mary popping pills. What is this? But one thing, every time I come to do the show, I start to feel calm because you people are wonderful. And I really hope you've had as much fun and pleasure as I usually have with emotion and tension. I'll be all right. I'll just go visit my Uncle Valium. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's refreshing to laugh.
Yeah.
The evening is winding down. Most of you know that I lost my brother last July, and 2 weeks ago, my sister died in the middle of the night alone. And I haven't had time to, I'm still mourning both of them. but I haven't had time to write any poetry about my sister, who was she was 9 years younger than I was, but she was my sidekick. So anyway, I just got a photo, a selfie that she had taken before she passed, and she looks so beautiful, and her face is so peaceful. You know, whatever happened, I know that in the end, she was in a very, very good place. And the same with my brother. This poem is actually about my brother. I'm hoping, you know how people say when someone passes, rest in peace, may they rest in peace. I hope they're resting in peace. Well, this poem called Reparation is in 5 stanzas. And it's about my brother's life, but in the end, what I would do to help him feel at peace. Reparation, and the epigraph is: in Germany, 1891, the first recorded hip replacement used ivory, screws, plaster of Paris, and glue. 1. The newsreel imprinted Jose Greco dancing the faruca on my brother's imagination. With arms raised, following in Greco's footsteps, he clapped a tattoo above his head, a Spanish sneer on his face. His feet beat staccato, the sound of horses racing across the plains. Instead of Cuban heels, he was fitted with a lift inside ugly black shoes, an attempt to level the length of his legs. Medical men disguised as inventors lashed him to the rack of pain, transformed him into a guinea pig. Born with flat-topped femurs, he bore 9 total hip replacements, ever-changing methods and materials. Metal cups shifted, concrete crumbled, saws pulverized bone, scalpels cut through sinew and muscle again and again. When he walked, even on the smoothest path, he rolled and grinded like a drunken pirate. He grieved at the end, legs withered, feet bruised and blackened like overripe plantains, his mobility at a standstill. Put me in charge of the afterlife. I will raise his arms, dress him in a bright bolero, shoe him in luminous leather zapatos, send him hale and holy across those hallowed hills, effortless hoofing on quick clicking heels.
Oh, beautiful.
And
sad.
Yeah, but you know what? He had a lot of trauma in his life, and he is at peace now. I know our mom and dad were there to greet him, and I know he's there to greet my sister now that she's gone too. So all shall be well. All shall be well. You're my second family. I had to tell you about this. So, okay.
Well, he's got a perfect body now.
Yeah, he does. No pain, all gain.
Even legs and everything. Yeah.
Thank you, Donna.
Yes.
You know
thanks.
that my brother just died and we buried him a week ago today. Thank you, Donna. 8 months he went through a lot too. But he said, "I'm done. This is where it ends." But he seemed so peaceful, like an angel. So thank you for that poem. It was very beautiful.
All right. I have a little bit of business I promised to do at the end of the show. And it's about the telethon, the very first telethon that FCTV is going to be in charge of videotaping. There are 14 nonprofits. I'm going to read the list of who the nonprofit partners are. They're all together jointly raising money for One Falmouth. See how many you've heard of or nonprofits like them. Carousel of Lights. It's a carousel. FCTV also is benefit as a partner. Falmouth Education Foundation. Falmouth Service Center, so dear to my heart. Falmouth Road Race. The Falmouth Walk. Nobska Lighthouse Maritime Museum. Falmouth Historical Society Museum on the Green. The Rotary Club of Falmouth, they do so much in this town. Salt Pond Area's bird sanctuaries, oh my gosh. Wellstrong. The West Falmouth Library, Wings for Falmouth Families. It's a beautiful, beautiful nonprofit. And then the Woods Hole Historical Museum. All of them, such wonderful, steadfast programs that are in, our town. One Falmouth is a partnership committed to making a collective impact through awareness, education, and engagement. The organizations of One Falmouth serve virtually every aspect of the Falmouth community, including FCTV. On February 16th, 2 days after Valentine's Day, good way to remember it, at 6 p.m., they're holding their first ever fundraising event live on FCTV Public Channel 13 and the FCTV YouTube channel, hosted by Todd Gorell and with special guest performers, Crooked Coast. I love that band. And then a lot of others as well. So go to onefalmouth.org. You can click to donate and tune in on February, I want to get it right, 16th at 6 p.m. The next poetic license will be on February 24th. The suggested theme is heartfelt. Heartfelt. And so those of you out there, take a chance. Sign up and share your words with us. You'll be so glad you did. So my friends, be well. And until we meet again, shine on.